Look, if the slope isn't slippery enough to get Robert Sarver out of the league after this, then it's just not slippery enough as it is right now. Let's review what's in the report. He said the N-word 5 times after being told in 2004 that even if you're repeating what another player said or purporting to according to his own recollections, which may not be reliable, that's not okay. 2004, 18 years ago. Then here's just a partial list of stuff that he said or did around women and even male employees. Told a pregnant woman, you can't really have the same kind of career you're going to have because, your child needs a mother. We're going to have to take you off this event. Talked about sex acts. Talked about condoms. Talked about the size of his own penis. Made comments about the physical appearance of female staffers, including the Suns dancers. Talked about the significant other of a player and her alleged sexual proclivities around other employees. Dropped his pants and his underwear while a physical trainer was performing a fitness examination on him. And the report concluded that he did none of that out of racial or gender-based animus, that he had a sophomoric sense of humor, that he thrived on conflict, that he just sort of didn't read the room in the 2000s and his sort of juvenile sense of humor was out of touch. There was no animus. Ask the women who were told that their careers were at stake, that something was right or wrong with their bodies, if they didn't feel that that came from a place of animus. The report is allowing Robert Sarver to hide behind a sophomoric sense of humor and letting him off easy because of his mindset or whatever. That stuff comes from animus. I think that conclusion is not correct. And frankly, I don't know what's going to happen now. I heard Richard say it's on the players. And the unfortunate thing is it shouldn't be on the players. It shouldn't be on the players now to act as employees, to protest, to not come to the Suns for whatever reason. It shouldn't be on the players who have only 30 places of employment in the NBA to choose from. I just look at that line in the report that there's no evidence that he acted out of racial or gender animus. And when you read what he did and how it affected the employees, that line is absurd. And so I don't know where you go from here, but I think that line is absurd.
Well, one other thing that I want to point out is that when we talk about the players, I know multiple former Phoenix Suns players, obviously from our job and what we do, and just different guys that I know. None of this surprised any of them. When the story came out from Baxter Holmes, it was like, oh, yeah, that sounds about right. Or I would hear stories before this. So there, in my opinion, there probably should have been more players speaking up, not just the employees. And I know that this included players, and I know there wasn't a ton of players that put their names and ideas behind it. But I know that there were a ton of players that had experiences. These are just the things that show up in the report. They didn't get everything in the report. They just got what people were willing to tell them because I know that there was so much more. I do not believe that Robert Sarver should be running an NBA team. That's just the NBA fact. I'm from Phoenix. I know what he's accomplished there. I know that there's not a lot of love lost there from what he's done over the past 15, 20 years from owning the team. But that is not the type of people that we should be had. And also from the NBA, I want to know who was on that report. When you heard him say that 5 times, or when you heard that those were being said, when he was saying that about female employees, and you've got wives and daughters, I'm really curious of the people when they came down with that judgment. It's like, this is what we're going to put down to a people that are running organizations.
Right, and I have the report in front of me, the entire findings, the full 40 pages. There is an entire section, as Zach Lowe read some of the portions of, that is entitled Sexual, Crude, and Vulgar Comments and Conduct in the Workplace. That is entirely separate from an entire section on the racially inappropriate comments that Robert Sarver made.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.